Hello, I've just decided to put together a bit of a video clip. It'll probably break into a few different ones of the gear that you're going to need to really enjoy and be safe and comfy and warm for your trek in Nepal in October. So I'm going to start off with just flicking the camera around and showing you everything that's on the bed. Don't freak out and think it's a lot. I've kind of doubled up on a few things just to give you a bit of an idea on options. But yeah, here we go. So as you can see, I've kind of laid it out in sections. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start off with what I would wear every day. Okay, so what I kind of build on every day. So starting from the head, when it's sunny, then I'm going to wear some sort of a hat. I mean, this is just a little bucket cap, a hat that I bought when I was in Nepal last year. You can wear that, or you can wear a cap. When it's cold, so generally when you first get up in the morning and then in the evening, or if it's windy or anything at all, you're going to put on a beanie. This is a double layered beanie. It's a bit of a blend of cashmere and wool. Definitely wool is the go-to for warmth in Nepal or anywhere when you're trekking. It also doesn't smell. Next, I'm going to have a buff, which I put, it's just one of those, stretchy fabrics that you put around your neck, or you can wear it over your head. You can cover it up over your mouth if it's dusty, or if you're cold, or just too much sun on your face or something. You can buy them in Nepal for heaps cheaper than you can buy them here. So if you don't already have one, we'll just get one in Nepal. It's probably about 50 cents. Then I always have a singlet on. So I've got a woolen singlet here. This is an Icebreaker brand. And I will usually take two on the trek, because I wear one at the start of the trek in the daytime, and then I switch to another one later a couple of days later when I've worn it for a while. Or if I want to change at nighttime and put a clean one on, then I can do that, depending on how warm the room is. So I've got a singlet underneath, and then I've got a woolen t-shirt. So this is just a short sleeved Mountain Designs brand, this one, but it's a merino wool. Same, you can get them from a lot of different shops and online shops, but definitely go for the wool, because it's not going to smell. It's going to keep you warm even if you have sweated. The only downside to it is that wool, if you wash it, it takes a bit longer to dry instead of synthetic. But the upside is it's just ridiculously long lasting, and also it feels nice to wear, and your neighbours will appreciate it because you won't smell. The next layer that I would have on would be something like this, which is a long sleeve. It's called an active, where again, it's an Icebreaker brand. They come in different weights. This one's kind of got like a breathable side gusset under the arms. I like the zip up around the neck, because if I get a bit hot, I can unzip it. And this one's also got somewhere where you can slip your thumbs through, in case it's super cold, and you can pull this down a little bit. This is called a body fit, and it's just a bit more active wear than your full heavyweight thermals by Icebreaker. So there's a couple of different levels of warmth with Icebreaker, and I generally start lighter on the bottom, so singlet, then sort of a light t-shirt, and then I build up with a sort of a medium gauge one on the top. That way I can take it on and off as I get hot or get cold. And it's super lightweight and easy. You can wrap it around your waist or shoulders, just for that little, get it off you when you get hot. Okay, I might just stop this video and oh no, I won't. I'll do the pants next. So then, yes, of course, I'm wearing pants. I also wear underwear, clearly. Some people like to wear the woolen ones because they can wear them multi-days. I tend to wear the thin synthetic ones over there simply because they dry super quick. I can wash them if I need to, and they'll dry much quicker than the thicker cotton and wool ones. So that's just what I've noticed, and I just pack 7 of them. They're super lightweight and small, scrunch up small, and I can wash them easily. Also, you know, you can wear liners and things like that if you need. So then I've got a pair of pants. These pants, these are actually a North Face brand, which I've had for like probably 5 years. They have got zips on the pockets, which is handy because you just, I don't know why, but things just tend to fall out if you don't have zips. There's a couple of just back pockets that I can stick like a tissue in or something like that. Yeah, and they've got a little bit of a flare at the bottom, which makes it easier to go over your boot. They are made for hiking, so they've got a little bit of space in the leg for hiking and outdoors, and room around the knee. So I find these are really good, and they've got clips rather than buttons, which I love for getting in and out of. Yeah, and then icebreaker socks. So I wear woolen icebreaker socks, which basically you could take, I'm just going to open them up. I take probably 3 pairs of these. You could take 2 and then have a smaller, like lighter ones for nighttime. These ones are a few years old now, so they look a bit different to this. But I think these are the either medium or heavyweight hiking sock, and they're still around, just probably got a different pattern on them now. So as you get 2 to 3 pairs of those, look, they're about $50 each, which seems ridiculous for socks, but let me tell you, worth every cent. Yeah, and then the next thing that I would have on top of me for the next layer of warmth, once I cool down, or if it's super cold and breezy, then there's a fleece that you can put on. I've got a few different types of fleeces here. This one is one I actually bought. This one in Nepal. I bought this in Namche. It's a pullover style with a little zip around the neck, which again is handy. It's not very heavy. It's quite, as in like warmth wise, it's just a fairly light style, which is good and really great if you put this on over your icebreaker long sleeve shirt, and then you can just shove your fleece on, and that will just give you instant warmth, which is really handy. You can get different weight ones. You can get ones like this is a North Face one, and it's got a full zip down to the front. I've had this for a few years. It's also very good. Zipped pockets, which are a really great addition. Fleeces are good because they flick the water off. The only thing about a fleece is that they're not going to stop wind. So if it's windy, you need to have something that's going to stop wind, because you'll get pretty cold if you're exposed to wind. This style here is actually a Kathmandu one. It's a lightweight fleece on the inside, but it's got a bit of a windstop fabric on the outside. So it's fluffy inside and then more of a smoother fabric on the outside. It's got a hood as well, which is super good if you feel the chill around your neck and around your head. I actually bought that in Namche Bazaar, I think on my trek last year, and it was really cheap. So if you find that what you don't have isn't quite warm enough and isn't doing the trick for you, you can often just pick up something super cheap. It's not I think it's just a knockoff Kathmandu. I don't think it's a real one. I think it cost me like $9. So that's sort of like your mid-layer stuff. And then your top options for the outside layer is going to be feather down. 100%, that's what you're going to need is feather down. So you can have, I've got 2 options here, but really this is only if you want to pack a lot. If you just want to pack light, forget the vest one that I've got here. This is just my little extra because I've got one, and sometimes I take it if I've got the room, so that I can wear, just my fleece and then my vest when I'm walking around, or when I stop for a cup of tea. But in all honesty, in the evenings and any time that it's cold and windy, you're not going to be happy with that. You're going to need to put on your full feather down jacket, with long sleeves, and that's what this one is here. This is our RAB brand, RAB, and I bought this one in Nepal, in Kathmandu. It's a proper feather down. It's not a knockoff one. It's legit brand. It's got elasticized around the wrists and full zipped pockets. It's got its own little travel bag, which I've got in the pocket there, which is good for storage. And yeah, this one is probably about 600 loft, I think. So you're going to have to go for about that. This has also got hydrophobic dome, which means it doesn't like water, which basically means that it repels water. That's really what they're saying, is that it's the down has some sort of a spray on it, so it repels water. So if you do get a little bit of a light sprinkling of snow, or very unlikely you'd get any rain at that time of year in Nepal, you're still going to be able to keep your body warmth in this jacket. So most of the new down jackets have that. Traditionally, down is no good if you get wet, but you can probably be sure it's not going to rain where we're going at that time of year, because we're high enough that we're above where the rain would be, and it's also late enough in the year that the rain has finished. Yeah, and there's one other thing that you can add to that layering, and that would be a warm scarf. I usually take a pretty big one, because that way, and it's wool again. I bought this in Nepal. That way I can wrap it around my neck. I can tuck it in over my chest, and can even wrap it over my head if I want to. Yeah, so it's also really handy, just even to keep the sun off you or something like that. So that's what that is. So I think I've pretty much covered what you would be wearing. The only other thing I guess I could talk about is what you would wear at nighttime once you finish walking. So once you finish walking, it's always really handy to just, once you get back to your room or where you're staying, just take off your hiking gear, because it might be a little bit damp, and wipe yourself down with your wipes, or if there is a hot shower for some wonderful reason and you want to have a hot shower, that might happen. But other than that, get out of your hiking gear and wipe yourself down, freshen up, put on some, clean undies, deodorant, whatever you want to do, and put on a pair of fleece pants, which is what these are. So they're pretty basic, really not particularly funky, but just pockets and a little soft, like a tracky pant, but fleece, which is heaps warmer than they're just plain tracksuit pants. But I actually find the fleece pants heaps warmer, and you can buy them at most adventure shops or online or something. You can buy them in Nepal, but they tend to be a bit short in the leg there. The other thing I didn't mention was gloves. So I always have gloves in my backpack. Whenever I go in my day pack, I have them at the top of my day pack. Once I start using them in the mornings, I just put them in my jacket pocket and zip that up and keep them in there. These gloves are Black Diamond, which are a pretty normal brand. They've got windstop on the top and a little bit of just grip on the inside in the palm, and I think sometimes they have like a phone slider thing on the tip of the finger, so you don't have to take your gloves off every time you use your phone or your camera. This one doesn't. Yeah, and they've just got a light fleece, a really light fleece on the inside. These are great, of course, if you can hook them together, you don't lose one. But yeah, I've got a couple of different pairs, different brands of those. You won't need snow gloves, because look, if it's going to be that ridiculous amount of snow, then we'll be so happy about it that we won't worry about the gloves. No, if it's just so unlikely that there'd be that much snow that you would need snow gloves. So these would be suitable. And the other thing is, just for layering, for ridiculously cold, is leggings and thermals. So you're going to want to have a really nice thick set of thermals. So apart from your day walking stuff, which is just your layering, your light layering, which I talked about at first, you're going to have an extra layer of thermals just in case. You probably won't wear them when you're walking because you'll get too hot, but you will want them in Namche at night time. Not when you're in your sleeping bag, but if you are planning on walking around at all, being in the dining room, doing anything at all after about 4 p.m, you're going to find that it's cold. So have a pair of thermals. These are the pants. This is Icebreaker. It's a 260 merino brand. Merino wool, and it's 260. That's the indication of the amount of the fabric thickness and warmth level. So there, I've got pants in those, or stretchy thermal pants, and a top. My top's got a zip as well, but you can get them just with a straight crew neck. So that's your extra warmth layer. So you do end up with a few bits and pieces for layering. And then I also have a spare t-shirt, a spare long sleeve one, these are both wool, and a spare pair of walking pants, because you probably don't want to wear the same walking pants for 7 days. Look, if you do, knock yourself out, that's awesome. Being that you're not carrying all of this, your porter will be carrying all the extra stuff. And keeping in mind, of course, that you're going to wear a huge amount of this to start with anyway yourself. You're going to have probably your fleece in your backpack, your feather down in your backpack, your gloves in your backpack, your beanie in your backpack, and the rest of everything else is going to be carried by the porter. So I might just stop it there and do another video on what I would say is more like the hardware of what you're going to need for the trek.